ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। रीडिंग फ्रॉम श्रीमद् भागवतम by his divine grace AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 12, that is Dhruva Charitra. So we are concluding Dhruva Charitra in these couple of days. So we are at the recitation of different verses. I think we will begin the next chapter today. We'll just go through some of the verses here. Yes. Yeah. Which was the chapter we discussed?
Actually, ninth chapter. Yesterday we saw some verses from ninth
Yeah,
chapter.
ninth chapter. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, correct. Ninth chapter. So we'll just move on something. Wait. So this is one 4.9.65. So some glory, of course, all glories to Maharaj Uttanapad also, who was a great personality. Here it doesn't appear so in the past time, but he is. So recite this one verse and we glorify Maharaj Uttanapad. उत्तानपादो राजर्षिः
तानपादो
उत्तानपादो
राजर्षिः
राजर्षि
प्रभावं तनयस्य तं
प्रभावं
प्रभावं
तनयस्य
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 तं
तं
श्रुत्वा दृष्ट्वा अद्भुतमं
सृष्ट्वा
श्रुत्वा
दृष्ट्वा
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 अद्भुततमम्
अद्भुतवनं
अद्भुततमं
प्रपेदे विस्मयं परम्.
प्रपेदे
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 विस्मयं परम्.
विस्मयं
विस्मयं
परम्.
परम्.
Translation.
The saintly king Uttanapad, hearing of the glorious deeds of Dhruva Maharaj and personally seeing also how influential and great he was, felt very satisfied, for Dhruva's activities were wonderful to the supreme degree. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Uttanapad Maharaj was a great king, right? So Uttanapad Maharaj ki jai. Sometimes we refer to somebody, but apart from this one instance, he was all great personalities, son of Manu, Swayambhu Manu himself. Now Dhruva Maharaj becomes the king, and apart from being a great devotee, he was a very valiant king. So let's go to that. 4.10.8.
Which project? 4 point?
10.8. 4.10.8. Yes. Satana patato veera
तुतानापततो वीर
तानापततो वीर
उग्रधन्वा महारथः
उग्रधन्वा
उग्रधन्वा
महारथः
महारथः
एकैकं युगपत् सर्वान्
एकैकं
एकं
युगपत्
युगपत्
सर्वान्
सर्वानहन्
अहन् बाणैस्त्रिभिस्त्रिभिः
हन्
अहं
बाणैस्त्रिभिस्त्रिभिः.
बाणैस्त्रिभिः
Translation.
Dhruva Maharaj, who was a great charioteer and certainly a great bowman also, immediately began to kill them by simultaneously discharging arrows three at a time.
So this is Maharaj Dhruva, who was Veera, Ugradhanva, and Maharatha. And he started for three. He started shooting three arrows like that. Okay, so Maharaj Dhruva becoming angry is a pastime in itself. Finally, Maharaj Dhruva was overwhelmed by almost 1,30,000 yakshas. So this one can see, you know, we talk about zero was invented by Indians and all that. India has gone far beyond, like just from inventing zero. 1,30,000 is being described here as 13,000 into 10, like that it is being described here, right? And there was a shower of so many different illusion being showered on Maharaj Dhruva, and he was momentarily illusioned, or he was momentarily overwhelmed, not illusioned, overwhelmed. And the sages came. So this is the verse 8.4.10.30, the last verse of this chapter. One of the very famous verse of Bhagavatam, which describes glories of the holy name. So we'll just recite this. Munaya urchahu
Munaya
मुनया
uchu
उच्युः
औत्तानपाद भगवांस्तव शारङ्गधन्वा
Autanapad
औतानपाद
Bhagavaस्तava
भगवान् तव
Sharangadhanva
शरणं
देवक्ष्विणोत्व अवनतार्तिहरो विपक्षान्
देवक्षिणोत्तमदारितिहरो
Devakshinottamadaritiharu
विवक्षणान्
Vipaksham
यन्नामधेयभिधाय निशम्य चाद्धा
Yannamadeyamabhidaya nishamya chadvam
यन्नामधेयमभिधाय चान्दः
लोकोऽन्यसातरति दुस्तरमङ्गमृत्युम्
Lokonjasatarati
लोकोऽन्यसातरति
dustarama
दुस्तमुखम्
angamrityam.
Translation.
All the sages said, Dear Dhruva, O son of King Uttanpad, may the Supreme Personality of Godhead known as Sharangadhanva, who relieves the distresses of his devotees, kill all your threatening enemies. The holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord himself. Therefore, simply by chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, many men can be fully protected from fierce death without difficulty. Thus, a devotee is saved.
Yeah. And now Dhruva really became angry. Previously he was angry. Now, and then he just started, the battle in such a big way that it was on the verge of becoming genocide, right? So then Manu Maharaj, of course, Bhagavatam explains that all these yakshas who were killed, they were transported to Ninaya Lokam Paramarka Mandalam. Paramarka Mandalam means the planetary systems beyond the Arka, that is the sun planet. They were transported to the higher planetary systems like Satyaloka or even Janaloka, Tapaloka. These are the places all these yakshas were transported. But it was a little too much of a war. And then Swayambhu Manu, he personally appeared. And then we come to the next chapter. 4.11.7. So just like the Raj Dharma was being reminded to one great personality by another great personality in 2002. Similarly, Swayambhu Manu is now reminding Raj Dharma to Dhruva Maharaj. Right. मनुरुवाच
मनुर्वाच
अलं वत्सातिरोषेण
अलं वत्सातिरोषेण
तमोद्वारेण पाप्मना
तमोद्वारेण पाप्मना
येन पुण्यजनानेतान्
येन पुण्यजनान् एतान्
अवदिस्त्वम् अनागसः.
अवधिस्त्वम्
अवदित्वम्
अनागशः.
अनागतः.
Translation.
Lord Manu said, "My dear son, please stop. It is not good to become unnecessarily angry. It is the path to hellish life. Now you are going beyond the limit by killing extras who are actually not offenders." Correct.
Yeah. So now he said that you have to stop. You are now crossing limits and punishing those who are actually not the offenders. And this immediately Dhruva gave up his anger. Right. This was as if he was angry in a drama, and Dhruva just gave up his anger, and he was no more angry. And this was appreciated by Kubera. In the further prayers, in the further Upadesh, Manu Maharaj explains that, my dear Vatsa, my dear son, there is always, this way we may bring infamy into our glorious dynasty. Right. So there we discuss the Gotra Vichar, that we come from a great saintly personality. And Gotra, somebody may have Vashishta Gotra, Ambarish Gotra, Jamadagni Gotra. So we are not Darwin's theory, from branches to benches, from monkeys to man. We have Gotra, right? And we have to be conscious of all the ancestors and what they would be feeling. And the next chapter we come, 12th chapter, is about Dhruva Maharaj goes back home, back to Godhead. So Bhagavan Dhaneshwara, Kubera, became very pleased. And Kuber Maharaj, Kuberji, he asked him to ask for any benediction. And then Dhruva, he just asked for pure devotional service. So this is how Dhruva is the personality. We'll recite this verse. 4, 12, 8. Text 8. So what a great personality Mahabhagavat, Mahamati, is going to ask from Kubera, who is the Maharich personality, and of course a very great personality himself, follower of a great devotee of Lord Shiva, and it's a great Lokapal, great personality within this universe. Maitreya Uvacha
मैत्रेय उवाच
स राजराजेन वराय चोदितो
राजराजेन वराय चोदितो
ध्रुवो महाभागवतो महामतिः
ध्रुवो महाभागवतो महामतिः
हरौ सवव्रे चलितां स्मृतिं यया
हरौ सवौरे चलितां श्रुतिं यया
तरति यत्नेन दुरस्त्ययं तमः.
तरस्य यत्नेन दुरस्त्ययन्तमः.
Translation.
The great sage Maitreya continues, "My dear Vidura, when thus asked to accept a benediction from Kuvera, the Yaksharaja, king of the Yakshas, Dhruva Maharaj, that most elevated pure devotee, who was an intelligent and thoughtful king, begs that he might have unflinching faith in and remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for thus a person can cross over the ocean of necessities very easily, although it is very difficult for others to cross."
Yeah. So, Sir Rajarajena. So, who is this Rajarajena? King of the kings. He is Kubera. So, Bhagavan Dhaneshwara. And then Kuberji is also explained as Sir Rajarajena. So, there is allegation that, ISKCON devotees they do not give respect to demigods. Look at Bhagavatam. This is our benchmark literature, Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the very one chapter, Kuberji is explained, is referred as Bhagavan Dhaneshwara and Rajarajena. So the demigods are to be respected. Just like one respects the Indian Revenue Services officer, the revenue collector, but one does not give bribe to the revenue collector. That is the difference. Demigod worship for material gain is being condemned. It is not about the demigods. In fact, it is aparad in bhakti to consider or to offend the demigods. Offend the demigod, right? So, Saraja Rajena Varaya Chodito Dhruvo Mahabhagavato Mahamati. Dhruva Maharaj, Mahabhagavat personality, and Mahamati, greatly intelligent. What did he ask for? Mahabhagavat, Mahamati Dhruva, what did he ask to Rajarajena Dhaneshwar Kubera? Right. So he said, Harau savavre achalitam smritim yatha. My dear Lord, please award me unflinching remembrance of the Supreme Lord Sri Hari. And thus I can cross over this Duratyayam, this material creation. The next verse describes about Kuberji going to Swapuram. Swapuram means his own abode, and not that only earth is populated and everything else is vacant in the universe. Right? There are demigods, there are universal laws. Our intelligence, our brains, our telescopes are too minute and too gross to capture the movement of the demigods. But the movement of the demigods, they are realized time to time. Right? Yanti Deva Vrata Deva, Srila Prabhupada describes. Then there is a description of how Dhruva Maharaj performed his devotional service, that is text 11. सर्वात्मनि अच्युते सर्वे
सर्वात्मनि अच्युते सर्वे
तीव्रौघान् भक्तिमुद्वहन्
तीव्रौघां
तीव्रोगां
भक्तिमुद्वहन्
भक्तिमुद्वहन्
तदर्शात्मनि भूतेषु
ददर्शात्मनि
तदर्शात्मनिभूतेषु
तमेवावस्थितं विभुम्.
तमेवावस्थितं
तमेवावस्थितं
विभुम्।
विभुम्।
Translation.
Dhruva Maharaja rendered devotional service unto the Supreme, the reservoir of everything, with unrelenting force. While carrying out his devotional service to the Lord, he could see that everything is situated in him only, and that he is situated in all living entities. The Lord is called Achyuta because he never fails in his prime duty to give protection to his devotees.
Yeah. So how did he perform? Tivroghan. Tivra Oga, relentless force. Bhakti Mudvaham. While carrying his devotional service, Dhruva Maharaj was relentless force. Right. There are some devotees who are like this. Great person. Of course, there are many, many such devotees. We cannot take name of everybody. But very specifically, I want to remember His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. What a relentless devotional service. His deity worship would go on in the morning, and then, and you just, generally a devotee is known for one particular thing, but Maharaj is known for so many things. Book distribution, the book distribution, and then constructing temples, hundreds of temples Maharaj erected. So, and then deity worship, personal deity worship, personal deity worship. Generally, these are two are opposite extremes. Deity worship and book distribution. Somebody can be champion in one of these two. Generally, Maharaj was, and then fundraising, and then some Bhagavatam classes. So this is called as relentless. And then there are so many. Needless to say, all these great personalities: Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and then we see the next generation. We can see His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, Gauranga Prabhu, Mohan Rup Prabhu. There are, and there are devotees who are beyond our. We are so small. We don't know also the glories of great devotees. Yes. Recently, we had here one Murli Sham Prabhu. He's from Chennai. Such a devotee. Can you imagine? In 3 years, he he made 2,000 devotees into 16 rounders. I mean, I just fell at his feet and told him that Prabhuji, please consider me as a blank slate and tell me what to write, how to write ABCD of preaching. And he is just, in his 30s or something like that. So the vibhuti of the Lord, we don't know from where it will come and how it will manifest. It is, relentless devotional service. Unimaginable. Some of these things are really Even within ISKCON, when I come to know more and more devotees, every time I was like, so many. Raisham Prabhu moves around and he gets many people to Pune also. And we are just wonderstruck that devotees, I mean, it is even, I cannot imagine also. Somebody asks me, Prabhuji, everything going your way, and you are preaching for 3 years. You say, and people are becoming devotee. How many people will 16 rounder? I would say some 10, 12, 15, 16, 20, 2000, right? In 3 years. And that's phenomenal. So, this is the Tivra Ughan Bhakti Mudvakan. Very amazing, relentless devotional service. Personal characteristics of Dhruva are explained in the next verse, text 12. Beautiful verse. तमेवं शीलसम्पन्नं
तमेवं
तमेवं
शीलसम्पन्नं
शीलसम्पन्नं
ब्रह्मण्यं दीनवत्सलं
ब्रह्मण्यं
ब्रह्मण्यं
दीनवत्सलं
दीनवत्सलं
गोप्तारं धर्मसेतूनां
गुप्तारं
गुप्तारं
धर्मसेतूनां
मेनिरे पितरं प्रजा.
वेनिरे पितरं प्रजः.
Translation.
Dhruva Maharaja was endowed with all godly qualities. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord and very kind to poor and innocent, and he protected religious principles. With all these qualifications, he was considered to be the direct father of all the citizens. Hare Krishna.
Right. Sheelasampanna, Brahmanyam, Deenavatsalam. Just a minute back, we have seen his other qualities, right? Veera, Ugradhanva, Maharatihi. Same personality, Sheelasampanna, Brahmanya, Deenavatsala. Such a kind personality. Vatsala, Deenavatsala. Goptaram Dharmasetuna, Menire Pitaram Praja. He was like a very kind father to all his citizens. Srila Prabhupada describes animals are also citizens of the state. Right. So this is a real example of a Raja Rishi. Raja Rishi means that he's Raja and Rishi. Especially we see what's happening in Iran. The regiment themselves, they are destroying in thousands people. Everybody talks about Gaza and nobody talks about Iran, right? So these are not the kings. So kings are Menire Pitaram Praja. Generally, another thing is sometimes when we feel that Tivraugham, Bhakti Mudvahan, we have to be very intense, this and that, that intensity may take over one's personality and one may become very intensely critical or cynical in one's dealings. So that has to be kept separate. He was simultaneously Veera, Ugradhanva, Maharatha, and he was simultaneously Pitaram Praja. Right? Very beautifully. This is Raja and Rishi, the great personality. Eventually, right, this word is very important. Eventually, Dhruva Maharaj became old and then he came to this realization, which we have to come to by practicing our life. Not that as a student we come to this realization in the beginning. So this is 15th text, 1-5. मन्यमान इदं विश्वम्
मन्यमान इदं
मन्यमान इदं
विश्वं
विश्वं
मायारचितमात्मनि
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 अविद्यारचितस्वप्न
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 गन्धर्वानगरोपमम्.
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 Translation.
Srila Dhruva Maharaj realized that this cosmic manifestation bewilders living entities like a dream or a phantasmagoria because it is a creation of the illusory external energy of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Eventually, Jnana plus Seva became Vijnana. And Dhruva Maharaj realized, okay, so now we are having Jnana. And when we do devotional service, then it becomes Jnana plus Seva is equal to Vijnana. Knowledge plus service turns into realization. This cosmic manifestation is bewildering to the living entities like a dream or the phantasmagoria. Phantasmagoria means passing illusion. It's called as phantasmagoria. because it is the creation of the illusory external energy of the Supreme Lord. Performed his duties all very well throughout his life, and then he's coming to this conclusion. Age appropriate conclusion. Right conclusion at right age. This is very important. And thus he made his own, the son into the king, and then he retired to Badrikashram. Stule dadar bhagavat pratirupam. He had a beautiful deity of the Lord, and there is performing devotional service. Text 18. How Dhruva Maharaj performed his devotional service at Badrikashram. Bhaktim harau bhagavati prahavannajasram
Bhaktim haro
भक्तिं हरो
bhagavati
भगवती
pravannajassami
प्रभानुजस्य
आनन्दबाष्पकलया मुहुरुद्यमानः
आनन्दबाष्पकलया
आनन्दबाष्पकलया
मुहुरद्यमाना
मुहुरद्यमानः
विक्लिद्यमानहृदयं पुलकाचिताङ्गो
विक्लिद्यमानहृदया
विद्यमानहृदया
पुलकाचिताङ्गो
पुलकाचिताङ्गो
नात्मानमस्मद अवस् इति मुक्तलिङ्गः
आत्मानमस्मरन्नसव इति मुक्तलिङ्गः
Translation.
Translation: Because of his transcendental bliss, insistent tears flowed from his eyes, his heart melted, and there was shivering and standing of the hairs all over his body. Thus transformed in a trance of devotional service, Dhruva Maharaj completely forgot his bodily existence, and thus he immediately became liberated from material bondage.
Yeah, Muktalinga. He became liberated from the material bondage. And then there is arrival of Nanda and Sunanda. And Nanda and Sunanda began to describe Panchavarsha Tapasa. My dear Dhruva, your austerities and your example is unparalleled. And you are being called back home, back to Godhead, and we have arrived. And then there is example of Dhruva Maharaj. He taking his bath, he offering obeisances to all the Vaishnavas in the Badrikashram, and then taking permission from each one of them. And before he enters the Vimana, he remembers his own mother. And then the beautiful story goes. Nanda and Sunanda say that, my dear Dhruva, your mother is already ahead of you. And they show him another beautiful aeroplane, which is taking Mother Suniti back home, back to Godhead. Then there is a description of Vaikuntha, who attains Vaikuntha. And then text 38, beautiful small words. इत्युत्थानपदपुत्रो
इत्युत्थानपदपुत्रो
पुत्रो
ध्रुवः कृष्णपरायणः
ध्रुवः
ध्रुवः
कृष्णपरायणः
कृष्णपरायणः
अपुत्रयाणां लोकानाम्
अभुत्रयाणां
अभूतानां
लोकानां
लोकानां
चूडामणिरिवामलः.
चूडामणिवामलः
चूडामणिवामलः
Translation.
In this way, the fully Krishna consciousness Dhruva Maharaj, the exalted son of Maharaj Uttanapada, attained the summit of the three statuses of planetary system.
Yeah. So this is Dhruvaha Krishna Parayana. And then later he attained, where he attained, the next verse 39, he attained the Dhruva Loka. And there is a description of what happens there. गंभीरवेगो निमिषम्
गम्भीरवेगो
गम्भीरवेगो
निमिषं
निमिषम्
ज्योतिषां चक्रमाहितम्
ज्योतिषां
ज्योतिषां
चक्रमाहितं
चक्रमाहितम्
यस्मिन् भ्रमति कौरव्य
यस्मिन् भ्रमति
यस्मिन् भ्रमति
कौरव्य
कौरव्य
मेढ्यामिव गवाङ्गणः.
मेढ्यामिव
मेढ्यामिव
गवाङ्गणः
गवाङ्गणः.
Translation.
Translation: Saint Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, descendant of Kuru, as a herd of bulls circumambulates a central pole on their right side, all the luminaries within the universal sky unceasingly circumambulate the abode of Dhruva Maharaj with great force and speed.
Yeah, keeping Dhruva planet to their right, they are circumambulating with great speed. This is way before Hubble was sent on the top or James Webb, right? This is Indian astronomy. And then there is a description of, and finally we come to text 44, that Maitreya Vacha, we may have no time to recite all this. He says that Etatte Bhitam Sarvam. He says Uddama Charitam. Uddama Charitam is very, very uplifting pastime of Maharaj Dhruva. And verses after verses, Bhagavatam describes that, what is the falashruti of hearing this beautiful, studying this beautiful pastime. That is Dhruva Maharaj. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everybody.
Prabhuji,
Hare
I have
Krishna.
a question.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Yes.
Hare
Prabhupada,
Krishna.
thank you,
Thank you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Prabhuji, Dhruva Maharaj taken his mother to back to Godhead, right? So that is
Yeah.
because of she was already pure, or his attachment towards his real mother.
When somebody is connected with a great devotee, then of course she is a very great saintly personality and must have been very pure. But uh, relatives of such a relative of it, such a devotee, they are transported without their personal considerations. Right.
But
Srila Prabhupada used to tell, yeah.
but he didn't taken his father or other relatives, right? Only he has taken his mother. So,
This is in detail. See, the principle is Dhruva Charitra. Okay. So of course, father is a great personality himself. And then, so what happened to father? What happened to Uttama later? What happened to Suruchi? So these are the part of the details. Bhagavatam don't go in all those details.
okay.
Uttanapad must have gone back home, back to Godhead. He is himself a great personality, right? But he left the palace, went to the north. Went to the north means went back home, back to Godhead. The father of Dhruva, right? So himself is a brother of Priyavrat, son of Manu. But Bhagavatam will give only the incidental, what happened in those particular instances.
Okay.
Bigger thing here is also that Leela is to be relished. There will be so many questions will come in the Leela. Tattva is to be questioned and Leela is to be relished. Because what happens in the Leela means the pastimes. Now we are pastimes, there will be many personalities will appear. And we may not have answer to all those personalities. Of course, we may not have doesn't mean the answers are not there. There are so many other Puranas who are going to refer this Dhruva Charitra itself. In Padma Puran, there is mention of Dhruva Charitra, and there are many other places where Dhruva Charitra is being referred. So, I mean, that way, right?
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to all.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.